back on the bench again. Now, after I finished the build and rectifying all the issues around here, with the dodgy socket and me breaking the switch, I had it on soak test. I've done several sessions using it, put it back on soak test, and used other amps while I was soak testing it, and I had no problems at all. So I went ahead and converted my old Marshall combo that I had, which I previously converted to a speaker cabinet because the Marshall amp was just so noisy, and although I had a go at replacing several bits, it continued to be noisy. So I just scrapped the amp section and converted it into a speaker cab. But this would fit quite nicely in there, so I spent the time converting that cab to take this, the Rox-15, and all was going well until last week, when I was playing through it, and all of a sudden I got some horrendous noises coming from it. Now, the only way I can describe the noises were like frying bacon in a thunderstorm. So the initial amplification stage has no effect on it. The treble section does have an effect on it. The bass section has an effect on it. The brilliance section does not, and the master volume, turn it down, goes away, turn it up, and it's there in all its glory. Same as the treble, turn it down and it's gone, turn it up and it's there in all its glory. I spoke to Modulus about this, and they initially came back with try the remove the wiper link, and that'll make the phase inverter have a floating grid, and if the noise goes away, it's not the phase inverter section. However, if it stays there, it is the phase inverter section, because with the floating grid. As you can see, disconnected it, put a jumper wire in, and then when the noise came, disconnected it, noise went away. To further track down any issues, obviously I replaced all the valves when it first occurred. I went through with a wooden chopstick, tapping every single component I could find, every link. Now, the only thing I can't do is look under the board at the links, the earth links, or the earth wires between various elements, because obviously they are wired underneath. Now, Modulus, when I spoke to them about that, said, well, they never do that. If it's a perforated board like this, they'll bring it up from underneath and then wrap it around the turret. They don't feel there's enough metal in the turret underneath to make a good connection. And if it's not a perforated board, they will bring it up through the turret and just turn the wire over at the top to make a better connection. That's something I've never done, and I've never had a problem before, but obviously I'm having a few problems with this one. So valves changed, no issue. The noise didn't go away. In fact, I went through 3 sets of valves, and in the end put in a set of valves from a known working amp, my Fender, and the noise was still there. So it isn't valves. Michael from Modulus suggested pulling the valves one at a time and seeing when the noise went away. Pull out valve 1, the noise remains. Pull out valve 2, the noise goes away. Put the valves back in, pull out valve 3, the noise goes away. As long as the wiper's connected, disconnect it, the noise is not there anyway. So fairly convinced then that the issue is around V2, the components here. So I need to check all the joints there. Michael also suggested it might be the silver mica capacitor going bad. There's one of those on the way to me as we speak, so I'll find out about that. But what I've decided to do initially is, now I kept these links to all the pots as short as possible when I was wiring it up, but what I'm going to now do is I'm going to cut all these so I can lift the board, and then when I rewire it I'm going to go down to the base, along, and then up through the board and wrap it around the top of the turret, or wrap it around the turret on the top, which should then give me enough leeway in future to give it being able to unbolt it and just lift it up as a service aid. In future, taking on board what Michael said, I might start wiring on the top for the link wires that I normally hide underneath. I do think it looks a bit untidy, to be honest, so as I say, up until now I've been successful by not doing that, but we'll obviously have to see how it goes in the future. So let's start by undoing the board. Got to say, all the links look absolutely fine. We may reflow those just to be sure. Okay. But that's something I'll probably do after I've sorted out these links here. Okay, so here we are. Everything's rewired. Longer cables from the pots to the board. And as you can see down here, a replacement capacitor, the 50 picofarad, or in this case 47 picofarad capacitor, and we have no more noise on the board whatsoever, or from the output. It's been soak tested now for a good 6 hours, and is behaving flawlessly. So I think that's going to be considered finished again. Hopefully I won't have to put it back on the bench to rectify anything else.